Most people have to work, but there are some deadly jobs which some people do. We're going to look at some of those. The first job we're going to look at is a delivery driver. Road crashes are one of the main reasons why delivery drivers die. This could be due to several factors such as speeding and tiredness. This article is from the BBC and it reads tribute paid to man who died in train van crash. That's the individual who unfortunately lost his life. Brandon Hatcher, 23, was killed at the scene when the Amazon delivery van he was driving was struck at a level crossing. Another real life incident we have is a delivery driver died after forgetting to use his handbrake before being crushed by his car. He forgot to apply the handbrake on a hill. Now we're going to move on to garbage collectors. And two main reasons how death can occur: road incidents like road crashes, traffic accidents. The second is machinery. David Carpenter was crushed to death after being lifted into a hopper when his coat became tangled in machinery. This is David Carpenter, and he was a bin man since the age of 18 up until his death. And here's another story of a Baltimore City DPW worker who died after injuries sustained while collecting refuse. The garbage truck, in case you've never seen one before. Timothy Cardwell died after being fatally injured Friday morning while collecting trash in the alleyway. He was attempting to remove trash from a bin when he became pinned between the garbage truck and wooden pole. Now, with regard to iron and steel workers, the main reason why they die is because of falling and collapsing structures. Worker dies after being fools at Hong Kong construction site amid rainstorm. And I believe this is a photo of the incident. Another incident that happened is where a worker died in a molten iron spill incident. I'm not too sure if this is the aftermath of what happened or if it's during, but it definitely don't look nice. No, hold on, no, give her that. I'm not too sure this article is showing the before, after, or during, but use your own imagination now. A trolley carrying molten iron slipped due to gear failure, causing the hot metal to spill onto workers below. One worker died on the spot. Farmers and ranchers, they have deadly jobs, which could be caused by heavy machinery or animals. Tributes paid to young farmer killed in tractor crash. This is the individual who unfortunately died. Scott's farmer crushed to death by cow while feeding calf in tragic accident. This is the individual who unfortunately died. His name, Fraser Johnston. He died in hospital after the tragic accident. The breeding cow pinned the grandfather against a wall before knocking him to the ground and trampling his chest and body. Despite his injuries, he managed to crawl outside, hurl himself onto his quad bike, and ride back to the farmhouse. Bleeding from the mouth and clutching his chest, he arrived home around 4 p.m., where his wife rushed to his aid. Paramedics arrived within 20 minutes. Being a truck driver can be deadly. I guess it's similar to being a delivery driver, where the main reason for death is going to be road crashes, road accidents. A lorry driver dies as load smashes onto motorway front bridge. This is the lorry driver, Tom Mickle, who was pronounced dead at the scene. He died in a crash that saw his load of timber tumble down from a motorway bridge. We have a video to watch. Unfortunately, that happened in real life. That wasn't AI generated. Another article from the BBC. which states police name HGV driver killed in a motorway crash at border. This is Kostika Balan. He was from Romania, but he lived in the UK for 16 years. He died in a crash which closed both sides of the main road between Scotland and England. Being a construction worker can also be deadly, and the main reasons how people die are fools and machinery accidents. A GoFundMe launched for family of construction worker killed at Gateway Tunnel site. This is the individual who unfortunately died. He was 52 years old and he died after falling 60 feet into a shaft at the Gateway Tunnel project site in Hudson Yards. This is the photo of the rescue site. A man dies after fall from construction site. He died after falling off a building. Inquest on death of construction worker opens. So this shows a police at the scene of the Rose Builders site in Colchester Road. A construction site worker died after being trapped under a digger. The man who died operated a digger on the building site, and while working on the site, he got trapped underneath the heavy machinery. Being a roofer, unfortunately, can be deadly, and the main cause of death is falling. Two men die after falling from their ladder onto live wires. The man who died had been working on the roof of a church. They were electrocuted. Another roofer dies after falling from 5-story building. Crews found the 23-year-old roofer who had fallen, and he was rushed to Broward Health Medical Center where he died from his injuries. Being a pilot can be deadly, especially during bad weather, because that could lead to a crash. And a pilot lost control in poor conditions before crash. The aircraft crash landed in the Dunston Industrial Estate. A pilot who died in the crash lost control of his light aircraft when he attempted to make a journey in poor weather conditions. He was 71 years old and he was the only person on board. After the pilot took off, his aircraft entered conditions that were incompatible with visual flight rules. He was not qualified to fly using an alternative method. And another pilot died after a plane took off and hit a tree. I believe this is the plane that crashed into the tree. A plane crash was likely to have been caused by a low lift of speed. And this was the pilot's second flight in the aircraft. The plane hit a tree, crashed, and caught fire. Being a commercial fisher can be deadly. Now the main dangers are rough seas and equipment accidents. Those two things can cause death. Alaska fisherman killed in Pacific cod mishap. And I think this is the boat that the fisherman was on at the time of his death. Commercial fisherman dies in incident. A logging worker is the most dangerous job that there is. The main dangers are falling from trees, chainsaw injuries, and being hit or crushed by a tree. The worker died after being struck by a tree during roadside clearing. Two workers were conducting roadside clearing and brushing activities on the side of a Forest Service road. One worker was falling and leaning out of a tree with a chainsaw while the other worker, his supervisor, was nearby, blocking the road. The trunk of the tree split vertically. As the tree fell, the trunk kicked back and struck the worker. The worker sustained serious injuries and later died. Quebec forestry worker crushed by tree in logging incident. This is giving you a visualization of a man cutting a tree.